Hello, with Edgar County Watchdogs. I'm John Kraft.
Kirk Allen.
And we're going to do our year review for 2016.
What a year it's been.
And I'll let you get started.
Well, first off, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and may your Happy New Year be a safe one. We'll kick off with some of the first stories we broke. I think the biggest one of the year is probably Frank Montino. Frank is our Auditor General. He's currently under FBI investigations with the U.S. Attorney's Office for campaign spending, State Board of Elections hearings, and he's admitted in an answer to our lawsuit that he's actually violated our Open Meeting or Freedom of Information Act. So that was one of our first stories we broke on him. That one kind of went viral and got a lot of attention.
Lincoln Way. What happened in Lincoln Way?
What didn't happen in Lincoln Way?
Well, I can say one thing that happened. We found out the school owned a house, and they were basically giving what we would call free rent to one of the coaches, and they were paying his electric and water bills all the time, claiming they were not doing that. And then when the news came out, they acknowledged it, said they were going to kick him out and just bulldoze the house down because they were claiming the house was not livable, when in fact it was actually a pretty decent house. And we have pictures of the inside of it on our website.
Yeah, there's several investigations going on there at Lincoln Way. We've got the feds investigating them, Securities and Exchange Commission for potential bond fraud. So they've got some problems there in Lincoln Way. There's a superintendent that might think about his next vacation plans. Former superintendent.
Iroquois County, that's where, if you remember, a couple years ago?
Yeah, 2012, 2013, we hit them pretty hard.
With their multi-county health department, Ford Iroquois County Health Department. I understand they have more problems.
Yeah, we've just confirmed that they've actually got some more subpoenas being issued regarding the health department. So that appears to be an ongoing criminal investigation there in Iroquois County.
And what else we had? Tri-State Fire, you talked about them too.
Tri-State was a board member that was living in Texas, trying to be a board member, filed a false economic disclosure statement, and he's actually been indicted by the Dupage County State's Attorney for filing a false statement. And that was exposed to our website, so that was good to see that law enforcement did their job.
Is he the same one that was drawing disability?
Apparently he was
working down there as a
disability from another fire department, yet took on a full-time job as an assistant chief in a department with Texas. He lost that job too.
Chatham, what can we say about Chatham?
Village of Chatham, just south of Springfield. They've kind of become famous here in this last couple weeks, haven't they?
Yeah, with their mayor giving a citizen the bird during an ethics hearing when they were hearing a complaint against the mayor.
And nothing like flipping off the people that are holding the camera at you. But they've got Securities and Exchange investigations for potential bond fraud. They've got an investigation by the U.S. EPA regarding their waterworks facility with the South Sangamon Water Commission. So there's definitely a lot going on in the village of Chatham.
Clark County Park District, again. We finally had movement in the appellate court against the Park District, where we lost in the circuit court, and the appellate court overturned the Open Meetings Act determination by the Fifth Circuit Court.
In a unanimous decision.
Unanimous. So that's not over with. We have offered a settlement. Don't know if they've accepted it yet or not. But in the interest of saving taxpayers money, I believe they should settle it. And they've had other problems there this year. They had problems getting money deposited on time.
It was only like almost $100,000.
Almost $100,000. That was what, close to 6 months without being deposited. Holding people's checks that they wrote for camping fees for 4, 5, 6 months. And not depositing those. We believe they've all started being deposited now.
NIU, Northern Illinois University. You want to cover that one? There's a lot going on up there.
Well, we wrote about, with tips, we wrote about alleged improper hiring, improper travel and entertainment expenses, hiring of consultants without going out for bid, properly going out for bid. And just a couple of weeks ago, their president put out a newsletter saying that, yeah, we realize.
You finally admitted it.
We realize we haven't, I don't have the exact words, but he basically stated that he realized they haven't been hiring consultants and using travel expenses in accordance with their policies. Additionally, that's the college where people pled guilty to criminal offenses that were employees of the college, and then the college went in ahead and paid their defense attorneys, which is ridiculous. And that was a new law passed forbidding that to ever happen again.
Yeah, legislators couldn't believe that was actually happening. That law went through pretty quick to correct that problem.
Dupage County. State's attorney charged and prosecuted the College of DuPage for their Open Meetings Act violation. That was several years old.
It should be noted in that prosecution, that would also included the voiding of a 1-year extension to the president. So that was approximately $500,000 savings to the taxpayer with that action.
What else is going there?
Still got FBI and state's attorney criminal investigations ongoing at College of DuPage. So there's still a lot there in the future that we'll be covering.
And Dupage County, waiting on an AG opinion, FOIA violation alleged because they won't provide a copy of the W-2s.
Wait a minute.
Not only won't they provide that, they won't provide the actual figures that their elected officials are getting reimbursed or paid.
Well, I thought DuPage County was the leader in transparency in the state.
That's the ACT initiative, yeah.
The ACT initiative. I guess the T part of that ACT didn't coming through on that one.
No, and also with DuPage County and Edgar County and a lot of other counties, when they pass an ordinance or a resolution setting compensation of elected officials, the public is supposed to rely on that ordinance, knowing that's all they're getting. Well, they pass an ordinance saying we're going to give them X amount of money, but then they go ahead and give them vehicle allowances, retirement benefits, IMRF, health insurance, and up in DuPage County it can reach up to $27,000 a year that the taxpayer is on the hook for every elected official.
Just for health insurance?
Just for the health insurance. But they claim that, they're trying to claim it didn't need to be part of the ordinance. We believe it does. We're trying to work our...
They still haven't asked the AG for an opinion on that though, have they?
No, because they know what the answer is going to be.
Right.
Cahokia, the village of Cahokia and common fields of Cahokia. One of the most crooked places I've ever seen. First of all, they arrest people that try to speak out during public comment, and that goes nowhere. Then they arrest a city councilman or village trustee for trying to talk during the meeting.
Just trying to get answers to questions that they're asking him to vote on.
And then when we show up to a meeting, they cancel 4 months out of 5 meetings. We go down there every 2 weeks to a meeting, and then it gets canceled at the last minute. They must have thought we were going to quit going. And then additionally, the village mayor is the son of the chairman of the board of the water district. So appearances indicate that they got together and figured out that they would just have their meetings on the same night and the same time.
That way we couldn't go to both of them.
That way the irate citizens and us could not go to both meetings. But then they keep paying themselves the same amount for the village. What else we have? Edgar County Airport.
2 grants stopped, was it 2 of them this year?
The same grant stopped twice.
That's how many years in a row?
3 years they've been trying to get a grant. The last time it was stopped because the county lacked zoning for the airport.
Well, they don't need zoning. Isn't that what we were told?
You're right, they do not need zoning. They need zoning in order to get federal funds.
Right.
But they don't need zoning. So in order to get federal funds, they started the zoning commission. The commission finally approved passing it to the county, their recommendation for zoning. but, you know, hey,
So this current county board is bringing zoning to Edgar County.
that's right.
There you go. Make note of that, folks, especially those that live within, what is it, 7 miles of the airport?
Yeah, you gotta get, IDOT's permission to fly a kite, shoot fireworks, you know, little things like that.
Tinley Park,
Oh,
that was a big one.
yes.
Tinley Park Planning Commission. They tried to do some things up there with some government housing, and the citizens revolted. That was a joy to see that whole process go down.
And they revolted big time.
Oh, and fast.
News come out, we started pumping out articles. They had a Facebook page that was pumping out things that happening in the city. What really happened was a developer had somehow convinced one of the employees, a planning director or something, to change one word in their zoning ordinance from shall to may. Shall have ground floor commercial business to may have ground floor commercial business, which would have enabled this apartment complex to move in without having ground floor commercial business. And they came out with t-shirts, buttons, signs, yard signs, banners put on fences, website.
They had to cancel meetings to find a bigger place to hold the meeting.
1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people showing up to the meeting. Yeah, they had to move their meeting, and I think they might have moved it to their Coliseum one time, or to a gym or something, because that many people were showing up.
And how many resignations out of there now from that?
7 in one night, and then later on there were 2 more.
Yep, so they're up to 9 resignations out of Tinley Park for the actions of one person. It's amazing.
And the other thing, but this past year, we conducted a lot of watchdog training. Was it 5?
Almost 500 people.
We did one up in the Chicago area, we did one in Collinsville, one in Springfield, one in Bloomington, wasn't there one over by Quincy?
Yeah, we're gonna do one over in Quincy. We did one up near the Quad Cities, Moline. But almost 500 people that we've trained to do exactly what we're doing on a smaller scale. But citizens are stepping up, and that's pretty exciting to see.
And we'll get back to that training here in a little bit. La Harpe.
Franklin County.
Yeah, well, La Harpe was a little village, a little city actually. They apparently have problems with their mayor. He didn't want to pay his water bill, saying he was being treated different because of his apartments, and in the way they went about, or are still going about, deciding whether he needs to pay that bill doesn't comply with what the municipal code says they have to do in order to talk about a past due bill owed by an elected official. They're trying to just brush it under the rug, and then also he used city backhoe and city personnel to perform work on his private house, and I believe he's in hot water over that. We don't know if he's going to be charged or not, but we hope he does.
Yeah, we believe he will. They have a criminal investigation ongoing, and he more or less admitted to it when he wrote a check for $50 to donate for his use of the public equipment.
What else? Congressman Shimkus. We wrote about him earlier this year, and
Yeah, during the primary, we exposed.
a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, and there's a couple more things to pump out on what's going on with his campaign financing, campaign expenditures. Word is Congressman Shimkus is going to be resigning in January.
Yeah, well, good riddance.
U-46 up there in Elgin. What do we have about U-46?
Well, we got a Klan vengeance and a naked monkey on the table. Oh, you can discuss that.
One of the board members up there, is she still an NIU employee? I don't know if she still is or not.
I believe not.
Okay, well, she was basically had done some things in closed session and denied them. And a new board member wanted to listen to them, and they were basically refusing her to, access to them. A law gets changed, she gets to listen to them, but during the meeting prior to that, she says, well, let's just put the naked monkey on the table. We still haven't figured out what naked monkey on the table means, but to this day, she has refused to turn those records to the public Now, the board member finally did get to listen to them and confirm that she said some things you probably shouldn't have that weren't closed session applicable.
And the state legislature had to pass a new law or an amendment to the, is that FOIA? Or
To the Open Meetings Act.
Specifically permitting new board members
Access
to the recordings and the minutes of past meetings that happened prior to them being in office.
Yeah, she's the same one that referenced was the GOP convention as a Klanvention on her Facebook page.
But she says they need to be inclusive of everybody.
Yeah, she's a piece of work. Now, I don't know if she's running for one of the city council jobs up there or not. I'd heard word that she was, but haven't confirmed that just yet. But she's a U46 board member currently.
That same situation happened in Marshall, where the city council wasn't wanting to let an city alderman use.
That's correct.
Access to the recordings or something. What else we got?
HFS, one of their Office of Inspector General investigators was terminated. We ran a story on what we found was falsification of an application. And a citizen actually took that story, filed an OIG complaint, and it took about 9 months, but they finally terminated him for lying on his application. So it's nice to see the process works when you follow through with it. It just took too long.
Senator Sam McCann, we wrote about this in July. He accepted illegal campaign donations from, I have it written down here, Jersey County Community Hospital. When I looked into that hospital.
That's a public hospital.
That's a public hospital. It's a county hospital.
Public funds?
He accepted public funds for his campaign, which violates state law.
And that was Sam McCann.
Sam McCann.
The word on the street is he's going to try to primary Governor Rauner, so that ought to be interesting, see how that works out.
Yeah, well, so you might be hearing that story again. We got the receipts too. Whiteside County. Well, all the dealings with our airport, we run across other things at other airports, and I looked into this one. The Whiteside County Airport thinks they can hire their own attorney, but everybody knows, except for Whiteside County, that a county agency or county board or a division of the county board cannot hire an outside attorney without two things: the state's attorney's approval and a court order appointing a special state's attorney.
We proved that right here in Edgar County with their 911 board and Mayor Smith, who was trying to represent them. We actually got that money brought back to the county.
There's two things, because it creates a liability on the taxpayers that the state's attorney may have immunity over. However, a private attorney does not. And also, the way the attorney gets paid would be different. If the state's attorney agreed to hire one and the court appointed a special state's attorney, the state's attorney pays out of her budget for that attorney, not out of the airport budget. Now, Kankakee Airport. Kankakee Airport, we figured out that a board member was receiving roofing contracts in violation of law. After, and it was pretty funny, I did a FOIA request, and their attorney got back with me and basically denied them. And then I replied.
Wasn't he the one that?
I replied that we need, if you don't provide the information, we're going to go to court. And he said something like,
I'm an old hockey player, let's drop the puck.
I'm an old hockey player, let's drop the puck. So he dropped it, I smacked it around a little bit.
Then we got the records.
That's right. Lerna, little village of Lerna.
About 300 people.
The mayor was also the full-time village maintenance person. Convinced him to resign, took a while. A little bit of arguing back and forth. But he resigned as a mayor, and he's still a full-time maintenance man. Now, we have been told that he's filled out his packet to become elected mayor again, and we've also been told, and this is unsubstantiated, but knowing Lerna and what we had to go through to get him to resign this past time, he plans on resigning immediately so he can appoint one of his friends as mayor and keep his job as the maintenance person.
He really likes that maintenance job, doesn't he?
Well, pays pretty good. Pays more than mayor does. Mayor gets paid, what, $50 a month?
So,
And the other thing, recently, we went to the Bloomington Election Commission. They called the police.
well, we kind of encouraged them to.
Yeah, well, I said, do you want me to call the sheriff? And they said, no, we'll call him. So, you know, we believe they had an illegal meeting, and they did. They didn't post the meeting. Instead of just saying, okay, you're right, we didn't post the meeting, we'll reschedule. Their attorney sat there and argued back and forth. Then they went in another room and had another illegal meeting to talk about what they're going to do with the current meeting. Well, they should have just canceled the meeting. We went to Shelbyville Township, brought the same facts to them, that they did not have an agenda posted, and they agreed and said, you're right, we didn't post the agenda, let's postpone this meeting and reschedule. That's what Bloomington should have done.
Well, that guy had a track record, didn't he?
In Bloomington, yeah, the attorney.
It's all about billable hours with some of these guys.
I believe he's already had, what, 2 cases?
Yep.
Against that election commission for doing the exact same thing, or close to it.
Found guilty or in violation by the courts on one of them, by the AG in another, and then they went and hired another attorney to address their Open Meetings Act compliance.
Yeah, so, you know, it's all about paying more people instead of doing what's right. So that's our highlights. What do you got? Oh, American Watchdogs. We are starting up a new nonprofit. We filed for our 501c3 paperwork with the IRS to train other people to do what we do, which is look into local government and hold them accountable. We're going to train throughout Illinois and throughout every other state in the nation that we can go to, that we can stir up a little interest in holding local governments accountable.
And the overall goal is going to be to have watchdog chapters in every state that train the citizens how to do exactly what we're doing here. Currently, you know, we've got over 200 resignations or departures from office. Some who chose not to run from being held accountable. And when the citizens stand up, we see things getting cleaned up. And we're not chasing people away. What we're finding is the actions actually lead to good people stepping up and running, and we're seeing contested races that have never been contested before.
Yeah, and the old line that local media tries saying, well, nobody's gonna want to run for office because of what you guys are doing.
Hasn't happened yet.
It's the opposite. More people are running. The Clark County Park District has 6 or 7 running for, I think, 4 or 5 seats. The Water District is contested. The mayor, the city council in Marshall is contested. Locally, we had contested races in precinct committeemen. The county board had to be primaried. The sheriff had to be primaried.
Lincoln Way, they've got almost double the number on the ballot for those board member seats that are open after all the stuff that went down there. Good people will step up.
Cahokia for the Water District and the village of Cahokia. More people run for office when people get involved because they know something can change.
You bet.
That's it. So,
and I want to close out with all of those that continue to send us tips in on a daily basis. Please keep sending them. I know a lot of you don't get responses right away. We're buried with them, but don't stop sending them in. We're doing all we can, and that's part of why we're expanding this into a national organization. And that will be, you know, emphasized more as oncoming months, but it's going to be the American Watchdogs, and we're going to train this nation how to do what we're doing on a local level and take their communities back.
well, hope for more change and, wait, I said hope and change.
Hope and change.
Let's hope there is more accountability in 2017.
You betcha. Happy New Year.
Thanks.